Assalamualaikum and a very good morning I bid to our lecturer and fellow friends. As you know, this morning we will be discussing about confirmation. What comes on your mind when you heard this topic? Do you have any idea about this topic? But before we start, we would like to introduce ourselves.
Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. My name is SOFEA HANIM binti Muhammad NASIR.
Hi everyone, I am MIRA IZZATI binti Cik MAZHAIMI.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is ATHIRAH RASYIDAH binti MANSOR.
Assalamualaikum. Hello guys. My name is NAILAH binti ROPI.
Before we proceed to the definition of confirmation, let's learn a little bit about the theory of confirmation. The modern study of confirmation was pioneered by Hempel and Carnap. Despite its importance to the philosophy of science and epistemology, it is surprising that it took so long to be well developed. This may have been due to the doubt about the possibility of inductive support arise from Hume's problem of induction. In his problem of induction, Hume questioned about our right to conclude things about our future from our past experience. But no matter whatever its philosophical credentials are, confirmation theory is deeply rooted in common sense and rationalization that make science would be impossible without it. Now, let's proceed to the definition of confirmation. In general, confirmation is an act or process of confirming, but confirmation theory means the study of the logic by which scientific hypotheses may be confirmed or disconfirmed by evidence. The term confirmation is usually used in epistemology and the philosophy of science whenever observational data and evidence support scientific theories and everyday hypotheses. In a simple word, confirmation is the process of supporting a statement by evidence. Okay, now I will pass this presentation to the next presenter.
Hello class, are you still with us? I hope all of you will get something from our presentation today. Now, let's proceed to the concept of confirmation. Concept of confirmation. The study of confirmation theory is to consider what it means to say that some evidence E confirm a hypothesis H. So, the short form for evidence is E and H for hypothesis. There are two concepts of confirmation, which are absolute evidence and incremental evidence. Absolute means hypothesis is highly supported given evidence, and incremental means evidence increases the evidential support for hypothesis. For absolute evidence, evidence is absolute evidence. For hypothesis means that given evidence, the total evidence for hypothesis lies above some salient threshold. Let's say that hypothesis is probable given evidence if the probability of hypothesis given evidence is above some threshold. Threshold represent in a binary classification the probability that the prediction is true. It represents a trade-off between false positive and false negative. Binary classification is used to predict one or two possible outcomes, which are yes, no, or success failure. According to some confirmation theories, evident confirmed hypothesis means that hypothesis is probable given evidence. This concept of confirmation will be called absolute confirmation. For example, suppose the probability of H is 0.9, not given evidence, and 0.8 given evidence. Then evidence does not incrementally confirm hypothesis, but evidence does absolutely confirm hypothesis. Second concept is incremental evidence. Evidence incrementally confirm hypothesis means that adding evidence to the background data increases the total evidence for a hypothesis. Let's say that evidence raises the probability of hypothesis if the probability of hypothesis given evidence is higher than the probability of hypothesis not given evidence. According to many confirmation theories, evidence confirmed hypothesis means that evidence raises the probability of a hypothesis. This concept of confirmation will be called incremental confirmation. For instance, suppose the probability of hypothesis is 0.1 not given evidence and 0.2 given evidence. The evidence incrementally confirms hypothesis, but evidence does not absolutely confirm hypothesis. For more clear about the concept of confirmation, let me explain to you another example. Testing positive for COVID-19 provides incremental evidence that you have COVID-19, but it may not provide absolute evidence. It may be more likely that the test has produced a false positive than it is that you have COVID-19. False positive is predictions that should be false but we predicted as true. So, we can predict that should be false because we are not met with persons who have COVID-19 symptoms, but we predict as true because the test is positive. Now, I will pass to my group member to explain about the theories of confirmation.
Thank you, Sophia, for the brief explanation. Next, I will proceed with the theory of confirmation. Hypothetical deductivism confirmation, or as known as HD confirmation, is perhaps the most familiar and historical influential confirmation theory. It is successful prediction that deductively follow from the hypothesis under test. It is also a procedure for the construction of the scientific theory that will account for results obtained through direct observation and experimentation. Through inference, after we're doing some observation and experimentation, we can predict further effects that can then be verified for disapproved by empirical evidence from other experiments. Now, for a better understanding about the theory, I will proceed with the HD confirmation approach. As you can see from this slide, there are swans. They are white in color. You can see they are swimming in the water. So now we understand that swans are white. It is a theory. Based on their understanding, when we came across another swan, let's say we found this one in darkness and we don't know what color it is. Now, we have to find out which we're going to have theory testing. But based on our general understanding, we can hypothesize that this newly found swan is white in color, but still we don't know. So we are going to test the color of this one. So let's assume that we will wait until dawn to find out which color is this one. Maybe it is white based on general understanding that seems to confirm. It could be white with some brown feathers. It is not falsified but a change found in the test. We start with general understanding called theoretical base of the theorem. Based on our general understanding, we make hypotheses and we test whether what we found. Then, what we're going to discover is confirmed with our general understanding or not. By doing that, what we are really doing is we are trying to falsify our general understanding. For example, we found out that the swan is black swan. So we are falsified the fact that all swans are white because we found a black swan. Once we found a black swan, we can conclude that not all swans are white. It will become the new beginning for a new general understanding. Scientific approach when we test out and try to falsify the evidence. Otherwise, we confirm with general evidence. Next, I will pass this presentation to the next presenter, RASYIDAH, who will explain about HD confirmation method for a better understanding.
Thank you, MIRA IZZATI. Now, we proceed to HD confirmation method. First of all, we have to remember that hypotheses often have to come first. We have to use hypothesis to direct ourselves for observation to understand the significance of observation. Basically, it involves 5 steps. Let's see what the 5 steps is. The first step is decide on a question you want to answer. Do whatever you please, but make something up. You can create some problems you want to solve. Second step is invent a hypothesis by any means you like. Decide creatively. And the third step is derive a prediction from the hypothesis. The fourth step is make an observation relevant to prediction. And the fifth step, which is the last step, is if the observation match the prediction, the hypothesis is rendered more probable. However, if contradicts, the hypothesis is disconfirmed, then we have to go back to step 2 and come up with a new hypothesis. Next, let's move to confirmation truth experiment. Confirmation also can make from experiment. Before that, everyone is still focused, right? Just answer silently on your own and imagine that I am in front of you guys. Just kidding. Okay, now I want all of you to focus on the pictures given. The pictures actually shows confirmation from the process of making an experiment. The experiment is about hypothesis on the raw bread and toaster. Okay, first of all, we put the raw bread into a toaster and plug the toaster into the outlet. Then, from observation, we can see that the toaster won't toast. Then, we decide on question that we want to answer. So, From this experiment, we ask, why won't my toaster toast? After that, we make hypothesis. Hypothesis is a potential answer to the question, one that can somehow be tested. Remember guys, be creative for this hypothesis. So, the hypothesis that we come out from this experiment is, maybe the outlet is broken. Next, we derive prediction from the hypothesis. If I plug the toaster into a different outlet, then it will toast the bread. Here, a prediction is an expectation outcome to see whether the hypothesis is correct or not. Now, it's time to test on the prediction. We plug the toaster into a different outlet and try again. So, from the test, we will obtain result. And if the result is the bread succeed to toast, the hypothesis is supported which the previous outlet is broken. However, if the result is my bread still won't toast, which means that the bread doesn't succeed to toast, then the hypothesis is not supported. Okay, lastly, from the result we obtained just now, we try to reflect and try to think. If the hypothesis was supported, we might do additional tests to confirm it or revise it to be more specific. For instance, we might investigate why the outlet is broken. And if the hypothesis was not supported, we have to come up with a new hypothesis. For instance, the next hypothesis might be that there is broken wire in the toaster. So, I think that's all from me, and I will pass to Nailah to proceed.
Thank you, Rasyidah. Now, we will proceed to the types of reasoning. There are two types of reasoning, which are deductive and inductive reasoning. First of all, let's learn about deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is the process of reasoning from one or more statements to reach a logically certain conclusion. It starts with generalities and moves to specific. Deductive reasoning is a top-down approach. Here is an example. In premise 1, Betsy follows the Mediterranean diet, and premise 2 said that people who follow the Mediterranean diet replace butter with olive oil. The conclusion from these two premises by following the deductive reasoning is Betsy replaced butter with olive oil. This conclusion follows from premises with certainty. It starts from generalities to specific. The second type of reasoning is inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is a method of reasoning in which the premises are viewed as supplying some evidence for the truth of the conclusion. It starts with specific and moves to generalities. Inductive reasoning is a bottom approach. It is often used in applications that involve prediction, forecasting, or behavior. Let's see the example. In premise 1, Betsy follows the Mediterranean diet, and in premise 2, most people regain weight after quitting a diet. The conclusion from these premises is Betsy will likely regain weight after quitting her diet. This conclusion follows from premises with probability. Remember that deductive reasoning starts from generalities to specific, and inductive reasoning starts from specific to generalities, which are opposite from each other. Now, I will pass the presentation to Sophia.
Thank you to Nailah for the clear explanation. Now, let's move to the confirmation through qualitative and quantitative analysis. In this subtopic, I will explain about qualitative research and quantitative research. Qualitative research focuses on exploring ideas and formulating a theory or hypothesis. Qualitative research is expressed in words. It is used to understand concept, thought, or experience. This type of research enables you to gather in-depth insight on topics that are not well understood. The common qualitative methods include interviews with open-ended questions, observations described in words, and literature reviews that explore concepts and theories. Next, confirmation through quantitative research. Quantitative research focuses on testing theories and hypotheses. Quantitative research is expressed in numbers and graphs. It is used to test or confirm theories and assumptions. This type of research can be used to establish generalizable facts about a topic. The common quantitative methods include experiments, observations recorded as numbers, and surveys with closed-ended questions.
Well, that is all we have for today. Let me now summarize what we have talked about confirmation. We begin by noting how little of our reasoning is captured by deductive logic and how there is an apparent need for confirmation theory. To be sure, confirmation theory does bear some interesting analogies to deductive logic. It is not a matter of the truth of some piece of evidence, nor the hypothesis, but rather of the bearing that evidence has on the hypothesis. We have learned that there are apparently some important disanalogies. Unlike deductive entailment, confirmation relation comes in varying degree. The relation cannot be captured purely synthetically. Meaning of terms are important. Next, the relation may not be unique constraint. Last but not least, they apparently involve at least a three-place relation between an evidence sentence, a hypothesis, and general understanding. That's all from us. I hope that today you have learned something new and understand about this topic.